Men really do love horses. They really do love horses.
Mine.
Huh? Kaboom!
Professor Lando. He's got a new lesson for us. So get out your pens and pencils. You know, we're about to begin class. It's time to get your education shots. Pull out your notepads. I learned all I need to know from his armpit video. I see a Lando connoisseur in the chat. Who knew? Horse Girls Explained.
Right, students, take a seat. My name is Professor Lando, and in today's lecture, we're going to be talking about horse girls.
Got it.
As the name
Time to get
suggests, a horse girl is part horse and part girl. But what do
I
we
am part cow and part girl. Yeah.
mean by that? Well, let's break this down so you have a firm grasp of what we're talking about. We can start with some examples. Recently, we've seen the rise in popularity of a piece of media called Umamusume, which is a series and game wherein real-life racehorses
Dang, that was fast. He drew that horse in seconds. Dang.
are personified as humanoid anime girls who
Yo.
still race
I love that. I know who that one is. That's Golden Ship.
like a racehorse, but they also sing and dance as well. And
Golden
interestingly
Shiphead.
enough, this is not the first time in human history where a fictionalized piece of media depicting horse girls has become immensely popular with the public. Of
Really?
course, I'm talking about
My Little Pony,
Friendship
right.
is Magic, which is a cartoon franchise
True.
featuring talking horse girls or horse-like creatures like unicorns that, although initially marketed towards children, has found itself uniquely popular with an adult audience who
Very
vary
true.
in their degree of suspicious intent.
Man, there is a direct connection between like horse media and degens. I never thought of it that way.
It should be noted that these individual adults who find themselves particularly interested in My Little Pony are often referred to by others and themselves as bronies. Now, the enthusiasm
yes.
for horse girls in such a manner is so widespread that there is even unique vocabulary that has found its way into the lexicon of the everyday man associated with desire of horse girls. And that word is clomping, which is a verb that refers to pleasantly
I've heard cloppers. Is that the same thing?
oneself or otherwise
Is
engaging
that someone who participates in this verb?
in an indulgent way to media of My Little Pony. And it should be noted that the word clopping comes from the onomatopoeia of a horse's hooves, clopping. And the fact that this is found
I really like that you physically did the hand gesture. I appreciate that.
its way into the vernacular of the people really highlights how much this enthusiasm is widespread and is in fact not a one-off niche thing on the internet. And surprisingly,
Oh boy.
this is not the last example of fictionalized horse girls being popular in modern times. Very recently, there was an
What is this?
online obsession with something called the horse race tests, which were a series of race simulations
Oh man, okay, I saw Peepa play this. Alright, I would just say, I saw Pipkin Peepa play this and I did not know what it was. I had no idea, but that was the only reason I've ever seen this, was like a few months ago when she played it, I think. Maybe it was more than a few months ago, I don't remember. Time is a soup, but yes.
ran on twitter.com featuring these blob-like characters that represented horses. And in line with
Yep.
the premise of this lecture, people online fell absolutely in love and became obsessed with these blob characters. Now, before we delve deeper, you
I just wonder why they decided that that was the shape of a horse.
students must be wondering, Professor Lando, those examples you went over are very different kinds of horse girls, and you might not be sure what counts as a horse girl and what doesn't.
Yeah.
So let's go over a very easy visual scale for reference.
Okay.
So here we have a visual representation of the horse-girl scale,
Oh no, this is the furry scale, but done with horses.
which you can reference to determine what kind of horse girl you might be encountering. So here on the far end, we have a horse that is just a literal horse.
It's the furry diagram, but the horse version.
An animal. Moving on, we have My Little Pony, which is, for all extensive purposes, physically a horse or some sort of horse-like creature, but with human intelligence or otherwise some intangible human traits. And then moving forward even more, we have something along the lines of a 50-50 split, represented by a centaur, which is, of course, most of you would know, half human, half horse, and commonly the horse part being the bottom part, and the human part being the top. And then we have horse girls like the Umamusume characters that are pretty much just human.
Very true, very true. If there's one thing I can infer from this chat is that men really do love horses. They really do love horses.
Minor horse-like physical qualities like the ears and the tail, with most of the horse-like traits being intangible ones like their origins and their actions like horse racing. And then on the far end of the opposite side, you have something that is not a horse. This is human. And so what we have here is a scaling representation of horse girls and their varying degrees of horsiness. And in tandem with this visual horse girl scale, we can overlay a different scale to come to a conclusion about something very important in this classroom.
Chat, is your mind telling me, is your mind telling you no? Chat? Is your mind telling me you no? But your body is telling you, me!
So what we are going to overlay on top of the horse girl visual scale is the scale of ascending goon ethicality, where you have here on the far end unacceptable goonage being acceptable from the mainstream public at the very least.
Yeah, on the moral scale of degeneracy, you're already degenerate for being this far in. But if you're at the left edge side, like, there's no saving you.
And as we move along, the ethicality and acceptance of the goonage taking place increases to the far end over here, which would be acceptable. So as you can see, as we move forward with horses being largely unacceptable, I believe
it's like the clap of her ass cheeks all the way to the other end of like the clap of her feet.
Actually, as we move forward into the fictional realm and varying degrees of horsage being added to the character, we have increasing acceptance, or at the very least, ethicality of goonage. Most scholars would agree that the previous model is a little outdated for the purpose of analyzing the distribution of horse girl-ness.
Oh, are we going to have a newer representation of goonage?
And in recent times, we've developed a new diagram to help properly describe the distribution. So this is going to be a Venn diagram model of the horse girl distribution. So just like the previous diagram, here on the far end, we are going to have horses. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, we're going to have humans. Now, the previous diagram assumes
Are we gonna get a pie chart?
A linear distribution when it comes to horse to human ratio. But like I said, the nuance here proves to be a more complex model. So when you have horses here and you think of, at the very least, the physical qualities of something like My Little Pony, the overlap of physical qualities of My Little Pony characters and literal horses is going to be much closer to one another than things on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Very
like
true.
Umamusume, which is going to be much more similar to a human than it is going to be close to a My Little Pony or literal horses. And in the middle, and similar to the previous diagram, we're going to have a category that much better overlaps as many horse girl categories as possible.
Really?
And we believe that this diagram is the best representation for it. Of course, we are talking about centaurs, which have a little bit of everything. Did I spell that right? No, I did not. A-U. Centaurs.
There you go.
Which is going to overlap a little bit with My Little Pony, overlap a little bit with actual horses, and definitely leans into more human qualities, of course, being centaur half and half.
It depends if you're more of an upper body or a lower body kind of guy, you know, which section we put you in.
Sharing a little bit of the traits of something like Umamusume characters. And again,
you might get a pass on the Umamusume side if you like the upper body, but then like you might be disowned by everyone if you go for the lower F.
That is going to be Centaurs right there. In short, people really like horse girls. And
True.
for some reason or another, our civilization seems to be drawn to depicting these horses in media like Umamusume, My Little Pony, and the horse race tests, not to mention the slew of lesser horse girl media out there. Now the question is, why? As we've touched on, people largely enjoy horse girls as a form of entertainment.
Yes.
But there are those that enjoy it in a more academic and explicit manner. And some of you new students here in the classroom might be wondering, Professor Lando, there's no way that people enjoy horse girls in such a way. And to answer this and lay the
Oh no, I've learned a lot in the time I've been a streamer that the world is way more degenerate than I ever anticipated.
foundation of our lecture here today, I went to the archival department here at the Ligma University to get something. Let me show you this. So these are the search results on a particular archival website for My Little Pony.
my
And as you can
God.
see here, there are exactly 257,518 results as of the recording of this lecture for My Little Pony, particularly. So it goes without saying that
I mean, to be fair, also the franchise has been out for a long time. Like, not that it makes it less degenerate, but like Umamusume is not going to be able to catch up because it's a lot newer than My Little Pony.
it goes without saying that My Little Pony, just a small subsection of horse girls, is quite popular. And I think we can come to the conclusion that horse girls in general are viewed in such a light. So the question is, why? Why horse girls specifically? After all, there are plenty of animal-like humanoid characters like cat girls as well as dog girls. And with these archetypes of characters, yes,
Kimono Mimi sword.
people do find them particularly enticing to varying
Bow Bow girl and Nya girl.
degrees, but we do not see the same level of enthusiasm we see with horse girls. You know, there is no cat girl Fantasia video game that everyone is playing and posting about on Twitter.
I mean, there's Nekopara though, right? Does Nekopara count? Nekopara exists. It's pretty popular.
There is no dog girl wolves galore cartoon show that people have been watching for the
Untapped market, okay? I feel like if one came out tomorrow, people might like it. I'm just saying.
past years and years and years. No, that is reserved for horse girls particularly. So I want to answer the question,
To be fair, they wanted to use this to popularize a sport that's existed for years. So they just have that, you know, on the back line.
why? What is it about horse girls particularly that grips the audiences so?
The horse racing already was something that a huge group of people partook in like years ago. And like made bets on and kept up with, you know? And in this day and age, we do that with games. And when we bet on something, it may not be sports, but it's a lot of times Gamba games. So somebody saw the crossover of those two audiences, and I feel like that was a five-head maneuver.
Students, if you're anything like me, you have a lot of academic research to do throughout your day, a lot of hard work, educating the masses, of course, and I often find myself tired, needing a little boost, and something to quench my thirst. Well, today's sponsor is Gamer Subs,
Hey,
featuring
there
a
it is.
plethora of wonderful flavors like anime girl thighs,
Yeah, by the way, you can use code MooMoo at checkout to get 10% off your order.
as well as unique collaborations like this one with JoJo Stone Ocean. Gamer Subs is a keto-friendly and sugar-free drink mix to
Also
help
true.
give you a little boost throughout your day, wet your palate, and most importantly, give you some anime girls to look at.
I just realized this is Fivehead. He used a cafeteria tray to put this out on. That's so funny. Oh my god. Bruh.
So f***ing good. You can use the code LANDO or click the link down below for 10% off your purchase of any of Gamer Subs' unique
Huge.
products. Thank you to
Gamer
Gamer
Subs
Subs
W.
for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to our lecture. I do think that the answer is clear to why we are so attracted to horse girls, and that is because horses are
I hope someone community noted his there's not community notes on YouTube. There's just the comment section.
Useful. Throughout history, we have used horses in a multitude of ways to enhance our lives.
That is true. Like, he has a point, right? Like, while cats and dogs are companions, like, the only way that a dog could be useful in the same way a horse race would be like sled dogs, for example.
As a society. And I believe that this has been ingrained in our DNA, into our genes, as we have evolved beside one another. More than pets or simple companions,
Yep.
horses have
Hunting dogs, bro, that would go so hard, but you guys know they would have to shrink down the audience in order for people to watch that. Can you imagine, like, a murder wife dog simulator where, like, you would have to send her out to, like, murder other, like, animal girls that were, like, part deer? Could you imagine that? Like, a hunting simulation where the girl would just, like, run? Like a sorry, I'm having a bad way of saying this, but like a pointer dog, but it's like, part anime girl. Oh my god. It probably already exists, maybe, but like it would be a lot smaller of an audience because it would be way darker. It would have to be like a parody, then maybe people would watch it. It would be kind of like anime Hunger Games. Yeah, true.
become associated with our survival.
Extreme frisbee with dog girls. I mean, we have Nintendogs, chat. I don't know why we wouldn't just take the formula of Nintendogs and make it anime girls. I feel like that's so easy. Somebody take that idea and make it into a game because I would play it every day and I would have a really bad addiction.
And this is what has compelled us, even in modern times, to be so obsessed with horse girls. And so we can extrapolate this data to come to a conclusion about why horse girls are more popular than other animal pseudo-humanoid characters like cat girls and dog girls.
Sorry, I have another thing that I just thought of as well. I know Animal Crossing is more of a women's game, but if you wanted the guy audience creates like a game that has the basic premise of socializing from Animal Crossing, that like they can live in your home instance as like AI, and like new waifus of different types of animals move in and out each week, you know? And just add like combat when they leave, like add combat outside of the home instance and like a decent plot, and you would just have I feel like you would have a lot of dudes and girls playing that game. I'm just saying.
And of course, as with many things, I have a diagram for this. Okay, so here we have a diagram of the amount of desire that people have for the anthro character of the respective animals, being cat girls, dog girls, cow girls.
Hey, that's me.
And of course, horse girls. And over here we have usefulness, as in at the bottom being not particularly useful as an animal, and here at the top being extremely useful to humans. So let's start here at the bottom. I think it's a common understanding that dogs are historically more useful than cats. They have served as service
sled
animals,
dogs.
as well as hunted alongside humans for
My service animal wife
hundreds of
would go
years.
crazy.
And the conclusion we can draw is that dog girls are markedly more desirable than cat girls, although the margin is close. We can look at popular media to come to this conclusion. There are a plethora of dog-like characters, like the wolf guy from Zenless Zone Zero, Blythe from Elden Ring, the wolf from Bad Guys. There are plenty of examples of canine-like characters that are...
I do feel like there's a lot of cat girls, though. Like, if I were to think about it, I think maybe overall, just from what I've seen, there's more dog-ish boy characters, and there's more cat girl characters. I mean, there's probably cat boys too, but I don't know about the cat. Like, I get that dogs were more useful, like, as an animal in history, but I feel like cat girls are so big.
consistently
Like, they're so popular
in modern media. So moving on, we have cows and cowgirls. I think it goes without saying that cows are immensely more useful than dogs and of course cats. We eat them as food product, eating their steak, their meat, and drinking their sweet, delicious milk. And we've also used them as beasts of burden. They've pulled our wagons and farming equipment for generations. And due to this immense usefulness, we see very often the marks, the traits of cows and cowgirls being very popular and enticing in modern media. Of
We
course,
do, but
I'm
I still
talking
feel like there is way less cowgirls than there are cat or dog girls for sure. And especially like fox girls too. Like they beat us out. Oh, bro, the cow kitty.
about the infamous Kalkini. The
It is
visage
so
of a cowgirl
cute.
has been almost associated with lustfulness and a sense of almost primal desire. And not
Bro, cow kinis look good on anyone. You could put it on the cat girl. You could put it on the dog girl. Just like ah.
only that, the association of desire and lust and cowgirls goes so hand in hand that we've created a euphemism for a explicit act called
I'm biased, but I think cow kitties are like huge W. Also, cow features are so cute on anime girls, like bells. Like the little bells or horns.
milking. Milking, or the act of being milked, as a euphemism, is an incredibly popular joke and practice.
Yes, when I started being a VTuber, I got asked this like twice a week. I even came up with something that I would say every time because I thought there would be no use banning it. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't be milked. I'm just utterly disappointing. I'm a different kind of cow. You can't milk me. All I am is utterly disappointing.
Practice in modern times as well.
No!
And so you might be thinking, Professor Lando, it seems cows are incredibly useful and that desire for cows is extremely high. What makes horses even more desirable and even more useful than cows? And while that might seem true at first glance, people often overlook one key trait about horse girls that sets them apart from the rest. And that trait is that horse girls have big, huge hearts. They are very loving creatures. Horses have served as loyal companions for all of human history.
Oh,
they
that
have
is true. They are kind of like a working class of animal that's always helped us a lot. That is also considered a companion more so than cows are. I could see that.
such big hearts. And of course, thank you to our Patreon supporters and to these students here in detention for supporting me and my studies here at Ligma University.
It was
If you want to
good.
learn more, be sure to check out some more of my lectures and videos. Thank you very much.
Rosie has no heart. I do. What do you mean? I also have a capacity for arson. Unfortunately, I do not embody the loveliest of stereotypes. Anyways, that was a great video. Make sure you guys follow Professor Lando. 11 out of 10 horse video. Do recommend Umamusume. Pretty dabby! It's a good time. It's a good time. I can quit anytime I want. Yes.